Welcome to the Northern Cardinal podcast, episode 3, with your host, Yesenia Velasquez, along with your co host,
Julie.
So today we have some fresh new topics to talk about on this wonderful Monday autumn night at like 6 something p.m.
6:40.
All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is singing. So, my question for you is, can you sing and how often do you sing?
Well, I can sing as in choir for like the majority of my life. Sixth grade. Was it sixth grade? I don't know. It was either fifth or sixth grade till like senior year. So I was in choir, then I was in women's choir for high school. I mean, like technically I can sing. Like I also like singing like with other people more than singing solo. How often I sing? I don't sing all that often anymore. Like obviously when I had school I had choir, so I sang when I had choir, but singing often I don't sing a lot. But when, some songs come on and I mouth them and like try and find the pitch to them. Like I don't sing the whole song.
Yeah. I mean, as for me, I can sing technically. I mean, everybody can sing, but I can sing good. I mean, I don't know. For me, it's kind of complicated. Like always, it's always complicated for me in any way. But what I mean is that can't. I can sing, but I've just never really developed it, or I've never really sang in front of others. I don't even know if I'm good at singing. I've never sang in front of others to prove that I'm good at singing. So I don't know. Maybe I can sing. I just never developed it or never showed it. I don't know. I just feel a little bit shy about it. Or I don't know. Because I believe everyone can sing. It's just you just got to develop that talent, and slowly over time you can sing wonderfully. Of course, some people may have the natural talent, but others may not. But eventually everybody can sing in at least a polished manner. But I wish I'd taken a choir class back in elementary school or middle school or high school. But I can't believe I never did. That's something I kind of regret. Instead of taking introductory to music, I wish I'd taken choir. you know? Because choir seemed to be so much fun. Everybody was there, like all of you guys were there. And then, most of my friends actually took choir. So when you guys all had a field trip or you guys had to do something during the day, you all left me and I would be the only one in the class left. Oh, it was so lonely. I don't know why I didn't join choir.
Like everyone can sing. It just depends on how much work you put into it and like how you develop your vocal cords. That's a thing because like vocal cords are like a muscle, so you gotta develop those muscles. And it just takes practice and correcting your pitches and how you sing. It's like a whole workout.
I can imagine. But I mean, doesn't it hurt if you sing for such a long time?
It does. Well, it depends on how much you sing and how you sing. Because if you're new and you're starting out, obviously you're gonna it's gonna obviously very different. Because obviously like it's a muscle. Oh, it's like you're working out. Also depends how you're working out. If you're doing warm ups for your vocal cords and drinking water, then obviously it's not gonna hurt as much if you don't like stretch them and like take care of them, and you will hurt yourself or strain your voice if you sing way too long without warm ups before doing that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's the same with workouts because if you don't work, I mean, if you don't do a warm up before working out, you can, injure yourself or you can hurt yourself or you might do like a very intense exercise and then all of a sudden you break your leg or you kind of twist your ankle or you do something or you tear a muscle or ligament and that's because you haven't stretched, but it's okay. You just need to do some warm ups. Make sure you do those warm ups before exercising or doing anything too intense.
Yeah, it's okay.
I mean, we
As long
all
as you're
learn
like,
eventually, so.
as long as you're taking care of yourself and stuff, and you're like doing something for an extended period of time, then obviously, it'll be better than not taking care of yourself when you're doing it.
That's true. So with that, speaking about music, do you think music has the power to change your mood, and how does music affect you?
Most definitely. um, because I also mentioned this earlier to you that before we called, I was jamming out to some music,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, yeah, I was literally like jamming out, and it was like fun, and it was jamming quietly to myself in my room. But it did definitely brighten my mood way more than my mood was in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It was like when I don't know, this there's this like all sciencey kind of thing where when you listen to something, some type of music, there's like you listen to it and your chemicals in your brain kind of like have this like response
You mean your
to it.
endorphins?
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I
um,
agree.
hmm,
Were you going to say something else?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said. It's just music does have the power to change your mood. Like the other day, I was stressed about things, and music really does help. Or if you're trying to pull an all nighter and you want to stay up all night, listening to very powerful and invigorating, intense music can really help make you stay awake or something like that. Or, if you're upset, listening to happy music can help you with that. Um, or if you're angry, it can calm you down. But at the same time, sometimes it can worsen. I've always seen people who would, have gone through a breakup and then they would listen to a sad love song or a
Yeah,
song that reminds them of their ex or something like that, and then they get depressed and,
it
it
depends
just
on
brings them
how
back
they
to their
want to like.
misery.
It just depends on how people handle the situation as well. Because like some people, if they're sad, then they try their best to listen to like happier music to make them feel better. Or there's other people who, when they're sad, they listen to sad music and comfort them in a way. It just depends on how people want to do it. And there's also the case of, like you said, when you're sad and you listen to sad music, it sometimes worsens the, the emotion. It just depends on how people handle things, I guess. It just,
Yeah, it just depends on the emotion. I don't know. Because music can always help boost someone's mood. And it's very essential and important. Um, because with music, it's very, very powerful. It's very powerful, like, for example, in business, when you're listening to a certain sound and that reminds you of that, or in certain places that remind you of something. Like you might remember a song and you're like, oh hey, I remember that song from that place a few years ago. Or you're like, oh, I remember that song because it reminds me of someone who I like, or a friend, or it reminds me of something. Or you use music to communicate with other people because a lot of people may listen to the same music, and through music people can speak the same language, even though, and it's crazy because even though you may not understand what someone is saying in the lyrics in the music, you can still understand the overall message through tone and through the music, whether it's used for good or bad reasons.
Hmm. And like, what was it? Um, Also, like when you listen to music, it like you said, it affects your mood and like um also gives you like memories when the last time you heard it. Like if you heard it, like if you heard a song in the past before and it gave you like really happy moods, when you listen to it again, um, it could possibly bring back those types of moods when you first heard it.
Mm-hmm.
And it also depends on if you might have heard it at like a special occasion or at a certain day, then if you listen to it again, it'll bring back those types of memories for you.
Yeah, and actually, that reminds me. Remember how? Okay, so me and Julie and a couple of other friends, we were part of this college prep organization called Italo. And so, when we went to like the college recruitment program, we would have to wake up so early at like 4 and get there by 5 to do the program where we learn to master the Rubik's cube. And I don't know how I was able to wake up that early. It's insane. Now I can barely wake up at like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. It's insane. I don't know how I did that. But, anyways, that's another story. But every single time, I remember, every single time we were in Otalo, we would start mastering our cubes. This song would play every single time. It was Post Malone. Was it Post Malone? It was Post Malone Better Now. And
Either way.
and it was crazy
Oh
because every
no.
single time I hear that song nowadays on like Spotify or on the news or randomly at like Walmart, it always reminds me back at Atella. It's very unfortunate because it brings all those good memories but sad memories as well.
It's very a mix of memories. It also reminds me of when, I don't know if you were there, but usually after school and stuff, I'd have a friend drive me home sometimes, and usually I don't really know what to play on the radio or like your Spotify. Usually, like I had a moment where the song Sunflower.
Oh yeah, of course. Everybody knew that was
Like,
your song, Sunflower by Post Malone. Yeah, I know that.
but like it wasn't like my song. It was like the only song that I liked at the moment, and I had like a vibe going for it. It wasn't like my song. It wasn't like my favorite song, but it was like
Yeah, but it was
a
still your
song.
song. Like if I thought about you, if I thought of a song that would describe you, it would be Sunflower.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because that reminds me also. Now, unfortunately, Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars has been destroyed. I used to love that song, but then it got destroyed
Uh-huh.
because then it became a song. Every time we would listen to it, we would jam to it. It became a song between me and a friend I used to have. Like every time we would listen to it, we would jam it. We would jam to it, but now since we're no longer friends anymore, um, that song. Every time I hear about it, I have this bad stigma, and it brings some good memories, but at the same time, very bad memories as well. I mean, I love Bruno Mars. There are several songs that he has that I love, but it's unfortunately that that specific song had to bring up some bad memories.
Uh,
Anyway,
you still enjoyed it.
yeah, I mean, I still enjoy it. I mean, there are plenty of Bruno Mars songs I love, like, um, I don't know. I can't really name them right now, my mind is blank, but there are several that I love, though. Okay. Alright, so going on to the next question. If you could magically gain the ability to play any musical instrument, well, which would you choose? Okay, so I'm gonna answer this question first.
Okay.
So, when I was little, I learned how to play the piano kinda. I've always
Yeah.
wanted to learn how to play the piano. I even have a keyboard, I have one in my room. And I even took some piano lessons for a few weeks, but then I quit because I was like, no, there's no way I can keep playing the piano. Um, I regret doing that. I wish I'd learned to play the piano better when I was at a younger age. Because I was able to fully play the piano with my right hand and play the piano kind of with my left hand, but I struggled a lot playing the keys with both and playing different melodies at the same time. That's something I never mastered. And I wish I'd continue playing that more. I kind of regret not doing that. But I don't know. But then at the same time, I also like the violin. The violin is really, really pretty. There's this one song I've always wanted to play on the violin, and it's called Por la Via Dolorosa. And that's a song that goes perfectly and very beautifully with the violin. But other than that, I
Ooh.
don't think so. Because I tried playing the ukulele, and that was pretty easy. I kind of mastered it easily. But because I don't have a ukulele, I couldn't continue playing with it. But I'm pretty sure if someone gave me a ukulele, I could easily master it back again and play it. But yeah. However, Julie has piano hands. Like her hands. Okay, this is my hand. You probably won't be able to see Julie's hands because she's drawing. But look, these are my hands. My hands are like small and kind of chubby. Although they're not as chubby as before, but they're like kind of chubby. They're small. But if you were to see Julie's hands, her hands are piano hands. They're like long and bony. They're perfect for piano.
And and they're also really big hands. I like compare it with like my friends and like other people, and every time I do, my hands are usually always the longest.
Yes. Yeah, they're so long and bony. Like, those hands are perfect for piano. I mean, how would you answer that question?
I mean, like, okay, since not only like a lot of people have told me that I have piano hands like throughout my life, haha. But like the instrument that I really want to play would be like, because like when the month of October started, I actually wanted to start learning piano and guitar. Luckily, my dad had a old guitar that was in his closet for a while, for a really long time. So I took it from him. Like kind of borrowed, took it, kind of either way. And then also, back in the day when I was younger, I actually had a small piano. I kind of gave up and gave it away instead. Um, and then also my brother had a piano actually, a larger one than I had before. Um, he was it? He got it for his birthday one time. It was his birthday or Christmas. It was like a while ago. It was like when I was in middle school. He got it for him, but he tried it a little bit, but he didn't actually like continue playing it. Um, so I kind of borrowed it from him. Like as I said, the first week of October, and I tried doing it for that week and then a bit of the second week, but sadly, I didn't continue it as much. But I mean, I still have it in my room. The thing, I get back into it again in the future soon. A couple of notes, and stuff. I just need a refresher. And I also took, because I wanted to play guitar and piano. I actually took guitar class or like a music class back in middle school. I tried a bit of guitar, I think, or piano, either or. Then I also took an actual guitar class my freshman year. So I kind of remember that, but it's been such a long time. I kind of forgot everything. But getting back to the question of what instrument I wanted to play would be those two instruments mainly. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, would you say that while you were learning how to play the guitar, was it difficult for you?
it wasn't as difficult, but it wasn't as difficult. It was a little difficult since the setup that I had in my freshman year was way much better, and I obviously had my teacher, a teacher there to teach me the ways of the guitar and like etc.
Mm-hmm.
So since I don't have like a teacher instructing me exactly stuff, and probably I don't remember. I have a bad memory as well, so I don't remember a lot of what I was taught. So I kind of was like having like weird flashbacks and stuff, but I was like I was having a little struggle. But it's also because like the guitar that the music room had were like brand new and they were really good. I like those guitars a bit better than the one my dad has. I don't know why. It has like a different vibe. But then again, guitars are technically the same. Not really. I don't know. And like they're the same instrument, but I have like a weird vibe with like different things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I mean, like
I don't know where I was going.
I mean, I don't know, but I guess for me, it's just piano and keyboards, even though they're pretty similar, they're actually very different. Because I remember when I was trying to play the piano, I used a keyboard. And with the keyboard, I played it fine. It was perfect. But the thing is, with the keyboard, it's hard to play it authentically as if you would on a piano. So, on a piano, you can, when you press down on the keyboard, you can level it out and see how hard you want to press on a key. And so, depending on how hard you press on the key, it depends on how loud you want the sound to be. So, if you press it down hard, it's going to be very loud. If you press it down softly, the sound is going to be much more softer and lighter. But with a keyboard, you can't, depending on what kind you have, but usually most keyboards don't really have that ability. And the one that I had, you couldn't really do that. Like, if you were to press on a key, that was the sound. You couldn't make it louder. You couldn't really make it softer necessarily. So it was just, one tone. And I remember that when I was learning how to play the piano with my instructor, it became kind of difficult because I would learn how to play the notes at home with my keyboard. But then when I went to the place to play it with the piano, it was much more difficult because I had to. It was kind of funny because the instructor had to keep on putting my fingers down onto the piano a lot because I couldn't really play it that well. But I don't know, it's just something that you learn and it's quite different. Anyway, would you say you're a sensitive person? Are you more emotional or less emotional than other people, and why?
Oh, first off, I am a very sensitive and emotional person. Why? I don't know why. Maybe it's because of my upbringing, how my personality is. I don't know. But my emotions are wild. They're all over the place. They were all over the place not earlier, but like in the past. They were pretty bad. They were like really hectic and crazy and stuff like that. But somehow I managed to settle them down and stuff like that. You sneeze?
No, it's my cord.
Oh.
It's this thing. I'm trying to charge my computer.
Alright. What else was in the question?
The question also says, um, are you more emotional or less emotional than other people, and why?
Um, as I said, an emotional person, and I think I am possibly maybe a little bit more emotional than a normal person is, since I tend to also overthink a lot. And since I also have like some type of like anxiety and stuff. I mean, like I wasn't diagnosed with anxiety, but like I know that I do
Mm-hmm.
in a way. Um, so kind of uh, mix between both anxiety and the overthinking basically causes for one to be more emotional, sensitive. I think.
Yeah.
Um, and also since I'm like because of that, I also I'm like more um all over the place because I also feel like I can feel other people's emotions as well in a way. Like I can feel the vibe of the room, whatnot. So I feel like because of that, I tend to be more emotional with my own feelings and others,
Mm-hmm.
I suppose.
I guess. I mean, I guess that's what people think of you, but I mean, of course, I already know that you're emotional, and you know, it just depends. But as for me, I would say, like, am I sensitive? It depends. It really depends. Like, it depends on what it is. I can be sensitive at some points, but sometimes it doesn't really matter. Um, am I more emotional or less emotional than the other people? I would say I'm a little bit more emotional than other people. I mean, like, I use a lot of my emotions for things. I'm very emotional. Like, there was this one point I cried because I made a good sandwich. So, I was just like, oh my gosh, this sandwich is so good. And then just started crying for no reason.
Because you made a sandwich.
A good sandwich. I mean, hey, it was a really good sandwich. But
Dang, as long as it was a good sandwich, I guess.
yeah, it was a good sandwich. But I don't know. I tend to use a lot of my emotions and I connect with people more. And it's kind of funny because people might look at me at first and think, oh, she probably doesn't have any emotions. Because people might just see me and my persona and might think, oh, she looks so serious. She's probably cold. She probably doesn't have a heart. I guess. I don't know. But then once you get to know me, I'm very emotional. I tend to have a lot of emotions on various things. It's just maybe I try not to show it, but then inevitably I do. Because this also reminds me of Atalo again, how I cried in front of several people in
Yeah. Huh?
in public. It was embarrassing, but I remember I was crying because of something. I don't specifically remember why. But again, there was this one friend that I used to have that was there. For some re- for some reason, she decided it was okay that while I was crying, to call everybody over to see what's up with me and to check up on me. And that made the whole situation worse because it did not exactly make me feel better. On the contrary, it made me feel more subconscious about myself. And it just made me feel embarrassed because I'm not the type of person that would like to display my emotions to anyone except for people who I'm close to. So when other people who I wasn't close to was just trying to check up on me and see what was going on with me, and all the attention was on me, I felt very uncomfortable and didn't know how to react. It was to the point where one of the staff members there had to take me out of the room and talk to me in person because he clearly knew I was uncomfortable. So
Yeah. you.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it to that question. I'm not so sure because at the same time, I'm not very very emotional where I'm cry about every single little thing, or
Yeah,
I'm
that's a bit much.
that's a bit much, or I get angry easily because I'm not the type of person to get angry easily either. It takes a lot for me to get angry, and if I'm angry at someone, that means that person really messed up, or it just that person just irritated me so much that I'm mad. So yeah, I mean, do you tend to get angry easily?
I used to be back in like middle school freshman year. I had anger issues, but that kind of played a part of me being emotional, angry. Um, but now I've learned how to not be angry and like fix my anger issues in a much better way. So, I'm definitely I don't get angry really at all anymore. I mean, sure, I get angry here or there because everyone gets angry.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I'm the type to be um angry at little things. Also, what was it? I have what was it? Oh, and since also odd reason, like since I was super angry back in the day, now I'm not, which is good, but I now don't really get angry. I only get mainly like irritated or annoyed. Usually when something like bad happens or like something like major kind of thing happens, and I get angry. But like I don't show my anger a lot anymore, which is kind of interesting. But it's good.
I mean, I don't know. For me, it's just pent up anger. It's kind of bad because when I get angry, I get angry. I burst because from all of the pent up anger that maybe I've had from past experiences, it just all builds up. So then when I get angry, like all of that is just like boom, like a whole water balloon just bursted and it just goes through and it just, bursts and everything. I don't know. That's just me. Of
Understandable.
course, everybody can improve. I can improve on my anger. Um, but when I get, all I know is that when I get angry, I get angry. And usually, when that happens, that's very rare. So, but of course, everybody gets annoyed. I get annoyed sometimes. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So, how do you control your emotions?
Emotions, like all the emotions.
Yeah, like all of your
um,
emotions.
what I dealt with it was like in the past, I was like tried finding ways on how to like settle them down. Trying to understand them
Mm-hmm.
and how I felt, because that helped a lot. Um, and also, what was it? Um, uh, I also wrote down my things, like journaling and stuff. That helped a lot. Figured out how I felt, and also try to like communicate with other people that um, I needed help with it, and I was trying to fix it. Like purposely, I knew the problem, and I was like purposely trying to fix it. And like some people who kind of don't really know that it's a problem, if you know what I mean. Um, and like not only with like anger, but also with sadness. I try to understand why I'm being sad and uh, the reason that I'm sad and how like ways that I could make myself feel better when I'm sad. So Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that's it. There's probably more, but it's not coming.
I mean, usually when it's stress or if it's anger, actually more stress or annoyance, I listen to music. Music, speaking again about music, has helped to calm me down when
Yeah.
I'm stressed or something like that. Or usually I just breathe or take a moment to, really assess the situation and think about it thoroughly. Because if I don't think about it thoroughly, then I just, you know, uh, just act upon my emotions, and usually that's not good. Usually, I
Yeah.
just try to calm myself down if I'm angry or stressed or want to say something, and just try to, do something else that will distract me. If it's sadness, if I'm trying to control my sadness, I usually try to not think about it. Or sometimes I refuse to let my tears out. Um, yeah, usually what I try to do is distract myself. By either doing something, by reading something, by watching something, by talking to someone. Just anything that can help me distract from the emotion that I'm dealing with right at the moment can really go a long way.
Yeah, that's what I do as well. Um, and try and distract myself as much as possible. Um, Watching something to like forget why I'm being angry or sad.
Mm-hmm.
In a way. And also, music does help a lot as well, as we just discussed earlier.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so when do emotions become a problem?
When emotions become a problem, and it's like affecting their everyday life.
Yeah.
Like it's like um, a problem for you and other people around you at work or at home in your personal life as well. And if it's affecting you and other people um, in a negative way, then it is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And you will have to find a way to somehow fix that problem uh, by assessing why you're feeling that and how you can fix it.
Yeah. I would say emotions become a problem when you can't control them. Um, when you can't even control them, when you just react without thinking about the consequences or about the situation.
Yeah.
Because if you just let your emotions run wild, there can be consequences, and many will people will think of you weirdly, I guess, because let's say you're sad about something and you express it too much, or you're mad about something, because you can't always just express your anger. You've got to know when to control it and uh, know the timing, because timing is very important. You got to know when to be angry, when to be sad, when to be happy, when is the adequate moment to do those certain things. But also, if your emotions are also interfering in your everyday life, where you can't control them, they're just running wild, then yeah, uh, that's not good. And
Yeah.
as always, you could always consult a therapist or go to someone you trust to talk about these things if you like to talk about your problems or something like that. Because there are some people who don't want to talk about their problems, but are much better. But some other people feel much better if they talk about their problems to at least relieve their feelings that they have.
Mm.
But yeah,
Some
um,
people are not good with like expressing their feelings.
yeah, some people aren't. Unfortunately, some people just get angry easily and don't really have a control about that. Can't really control it. So if something goes wrong, they immediately get angry and they're not very respectful. Because also, being respectful is a whole nother situation. Like, yeah, you can be angry towards something, but at the same time, it's important to be respectful about it. Um, maintain a level of respect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the next question is, are you generally a positive person or a negative person? Personally for me, oh, sorry. But I'll go
Go ahead.
first.
Go ahead.
It's okay. Personally for me, I wouldn't say I'm either of them. I wouldn't say I'm pessimistic or optimistic. Um, I would say I'm more of a realist. I always think realistically. I think it's better to think in a realistic manner. I mean, of course, if you're pessimistic, then that's very negative and very sad, and nobody wants that negativity. But if you're very optimistic, that can be a very good thing. However, being too optimistic, people might start thinking, people might not like that. And, just being too optimistic can be annoying and just be tiring at times when you're trying to be positive about something, about a horrendous situation, and then in the end, people the people you see around you are just very um, negative, and you're the only one that's trying to shine happiness around you, and it can be very tiring at times. I prefer to be realistic, but of course I can always try to be optimistic. I feel like being realistic about things without being negative about certain things, but of course not being too optimistic about things. Being realistic, like, oh, this is actually going to happen in reality. I'm not going to do well on this test. Or maybe you could say, oh, I'm probably not going to do well on this test because I didn't study, but I know I'm going to do well in the parts I did study. Or, just thinking in that way. Of course, other people have different ways of thinking, but that's what I think.
I mean, like, as you like said, with like realistically speaking, I am also a realistic person. But sometimes, being pessimistic or optimistic does get better of me. But I think, generally speaking, probably being more realistic in a lot of things. And sometimes, feelings and emotions take over, and it just kind of depends
Mm-hmm.
on the situation, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Wait, hold on. Give me 1 second.
Alright. Well, I just draw.
Okay, so, all right. Going on to the next one. Okay, do you find it easy to explain your feelings to another person? If not, why is it difficult?
Me, I am definitely really bad at explaining my feelings to other people, because talking about your feelings is like a personal matter. So, like, talking to it with other people is like vulnerable with them, and also it also just depends on like who you're talking to and how much you're telling them and whatnot. You know, but usually I am not very good with that unless it's with someone very close to me, like my friends and my loved ones. And actually, I don't really talk to my family about my feelings all that much. So kind of weird, but
Yeah, I mean, for me, I guess it's because they were brought up different, but for me, it's kind of easy to express my feelings, but to a certain extent, of course. Um, like, for example, with my parents, I can express some of my feelings and I can say things simply as it is. But there's a there's to an extent because for me personally, I can't really tell them everything.
Mhm.
There's a certain extent where I tell them about certain things, but I don't really tell them about everything that's going on. I can easily express feelings to my friends or to people who I'm close to, but to people who I don't really know, I may be able to express my feelings a little bit, but it'll take some time and it won't be a lot, you know? Because if it's someone who
Mhm.
you don't know, you would have to have time to warm up to them and to gain some trust, if any, and slowly just, talk about it. But sometimes at the same time, you wouldn't want to express your feelings to someone who you don't really know that well.
Unless you're like some type like unless you're like that type of person who can be extremely vulnerable with like whoever, as long as you're like talking and you want to talk about your feelings to other people. It also just depends on like what type of personality you have and what type of relationship you have with your feelings. You
Yeah,
kind of
because
understand my drift now.
because that's not me necessarily. Because there are some people who have the power and are able to be vulnerable and just say things to people who they don't know. But for me, I'm like a very private person. I don't like to expose everything about me in just one go. I'm not an open book. Like for me, I'm like an onion. I have layers. So, there's different layers about me. Like an outer shell where I let everybody see me, and then like a very inner shell where I let people who I know see me and know these certain things, and then like an inner shell where I let people who are close to me see things about me. Um, but yeah, that's just me. I'm definitely not an open book. It really takes a long time for me to warm up to someone, just tell them everything, or not
Mhm.
everything, but my feelings. Okay. And then this next question, like, what makes you feel very good?
Makes you feel very good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, music makes me feel good. Makes me have a better mood. I actually listen to like music or listen to some type of music at least every day. Actually,
Mm-hmm. I would say, mm, I would say music, I guess. I'm not sure. Food makes me feel good.
as
Music, food,
what else? Also,
or just talking to someone about something just to distract yourself, or uh yeah.
yeah.
I
So
don't
what
know
was
what
it?
else to say.
Um, talking to mainly like you, and also like I also talk to my boyfriend. And that like makes me feel good, like happier and stuff. Um, then music, and then obviously food is part of that. You know, just things that make you happy. Um. Also, since I guess am a quote unquote artist, drawing makes me feel good or like distracts myself in a way. Um, and also, even though it's not really fun, yes, but keeping myself busy and like trying to be productive makes me feel good in a way.
Yeah, like trying to be productive or doing something good for yourself and taking care of yourself. That's also very good. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very essential.
Yeah, very essential to keep your mental health healthy, but also keeping your mind and soul and body healthy.
Mind and soul.
But also speaking about that, is there a limit to how often we can feel good? In other words, if you feel good now, does that mean you will feel bad at some time later? I'll answer this very quickly. In general, in life anyway, not all moments are gonna be good. It's inevitable to have bad moments as well. We're all going to have like rough stages of our life, but also good stages as well. I don't think anyone can go through life without having at least one rough stage. Um, but I think you can go through both. I don't think there's a limit necessarily. I think it just depends. There's always going to be good and bad things, no matter how how much you would want to pursue a good life. But yeah, I mean, maybe you could feel like you're good now, but eventually there's going to be a rough patch or something that's going to bring you down. However, it's up to you whether you let that become a negative part of your life. If you let it bring you down, if you let that moment bring you down and make you feel worse about yourself, then that's just going to make things worse. But if you think more optimistically, or if you think in a positive light about the situation, then there's a more likely chance that that positive moment can come back again.
And, and also when you're in like a tough situation, um, your mood also affects that situation. So if you're feeling, pessimistic about it, then you probably might make the situation worse because of that. You uh, have an optimistic outlook on it or some type of hope on getting out of that situation, then you will have a higher chance of, you know, easier and like having a better outcome, you could say.
Yeah, I agree. Um, yeah. But at the same time, is sadness always a bad feeling? Are there good types of sadness and bad types of sadness? Give an example if you can. Not necessarily. I mean, usually it can be bad. Um, it depends really. Usually sadness is negative, but how can I give an example? Like, for example, seeing, I think this is associated more with parents, but seeing someone you, like, for example, let's say you've had a child and you've grown up with a child for such a long time, but you realize that they've grown up and now they're moving away, like they're moving to college or they're moving away into their new apartment or something like that, and they're no longer gonna live with you anymore. And so you're sad because, they're no longer going to be at your house. They're no longer going to be roaming around and spending a lot of time with you anymore. On the contrary, they're going to have their own house, build their own family, start a new life of their own independently without the need of their parents. And so, the parents might be sad because, they're seeing their child grow up and mature and become an independent adult, and they might be sad that they won't see their child around anymore, but at the same time they'll be proud of their child because they get to see them grow up, become mature, become a smart, responsible adult. So I guess that's the only type of sadness that I see that it's kind of like a good type of sadness because you're gonna miss them, but in any case,
For the
you're gonna
better.
see them mature for the better.
Yeah. I agree. Like, our sadness are like both good and bad, and everyone goes through them. And even though like the sadness may seems good, um, let me think. um, like the sadness that seems good may be confusing because like you're feeling both a little bit of hopefulness, joyfulness, and sadness, because you're being sad, but you're also in the situation. There could be like a better outcome and reason. There could be like a good reason why it's happening, even though it does make you sad. It could be like a new step in life. I guess.
Yeah, it just depends. So speaking about sadness, what would make you sad?
What would make me sad?
Mm-hmm.
Losing people that I love, being rejected by the ones that I love, feeling unwanted.
Oh, that's so sad.
Exactly, that kind of thing.
Oh. Mm. I'd say what would make me feel sad would be seeing other people that I treasure being hurt. Like in all sort of ways, like if they're hurt or taken advantage of or something like that, that would make me sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just like a depressing moment or seeing someone suffer is very unfortunate and sad. Um, for me personally, being unwanted wouldn't make me sad. I'm kind of used to it already. Not used to it, but like, I'm kind of numb to it. Um, what else would make me sad? Maybe just disappointment in general. If I'm disappointed in something or in someone, then that would make me sad.
Yeah. I also agree with like when like when someone you care about gets hurt, that's definitely sad.
Yeah. So, if you're feeling down, how can you make yourself feel better?
Usually I like try and talk to people about it, people that I trust, about why I'm feeling sad and like what the problem is. And usually they do their best to help. If I can't, I try my best to in ways to distract myself in a way from the problem. Also confront it as well, but I usually try to calm myself before then.
Mm-hmm.
I like watching something distract me or listening to some type of music as well.
Yeah.
Usually those are like the two main things that I do.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say I'm pretty. I don't know. I think I would just talk to some people about it, and then, like you said, I would distract myself and just think about something else. But eventually, I kind of just process it through my mind and get over it. Usually, talking to someone helps, and speaking to someone about it, like it'll release sadness, or sometimes just crying. Just crying, letting it all out, because if you keep that sadness and all of those tears pent up, then you won't be able to it'll just make yourself feel worse. And just crying and letting it all out can really help and make you feel better about yourself. And just releasing all of those emotions, and then once all those emotions are released, you feel stronger and you feel like you can move on to other things.
Yeah.
Okay. What makes you nervous? How can you calm your nerves?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Making me nervous. Uh, like sometimes anxiety gets the better of me and I get nervous. Um, doing things like public speaking, talking to strangers. Um, I also have a slight social anxiety as well, so going out in public, talking to strangers and stuff like that are kind of makes me a little nervous. Um, that's mainly it. I think.
Yeah. I think the only thing that makes me nervous is, not knowing other people,
Mm-hmm.
basically things of the unknown. Maybe talking in public, although that's not really something that makes me very nervous as much anymore. Um, what else? Doing things that I'm not used to doing. Mm, yeah, basically things that are unfamiliar or I'm unknown with things or something like that usually makes me nervous. Other than that, I'm not so sure. But what I do to cope with things with nervousness, usually I try to calm myself down or I distract my mind with something else. Or, I think really like why am I nervous about this certain thing? Like why am I really nervous? And usually the reason why I'm nervous isn't even something serious. So usually I try to put logic into my mind and think, oh, it's not going to be that bad as you might think. So just really having reasoning into my mind and thinking about it. Because, sometimes I overthink about things and think, oh, this is going to be bad. It's not going to turn out good. Blah, blah, blah. But if I just have some time to think about it, then it'll all be over. But also another thing that I would be nervous about would be gym.
Oh
For
yeah.
some weird reason, I was nervous about gym, but it wasn't because of the gym class itself, but because I was worried we would have to be into groups, and I would always be worried. Oh, I won't have someone to be in a group with or to partner up with or something like that. So that would be one thing I'd be a little nervous about, I guess. But then later on during high school, I kind of stopped being nervous about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So, alright. Is there anything exciting about, is there anything excited that you have coming up in the future?
No, I don't.
No?
I mean, like, in the future, I'd like to go and visit or hang out with my boyfriend. That's something that I'm looking forward to, but the thing is, I have no idea when that's gonna happen. So,
Yeah. I mean, personally,
yeah.
the only thing that makes me excited these days is this podcast, I guess. Doing these
Hmm.
podcasts with my bestie.
Hey.
And also talking to people every Friday and Saturday. It's great. Online
Hmm.
because sometimes you don't get to talk to people a lot during the week, and being able to talk to a lot of people on the weekend always makes me feel good because then I'm like, hey, I'm not alone. I have other people that support me, especially nowadays with the whole pandemic, and it's really hard to see people nowadays. So with that, I'm able to socialize people even though it might not be in person. It's online, and that's a good thing. But also a main thing that I'm looking forward to would probably be this youth retreat conference that's happening at my church during Thanksgiving break. Hopefully I'll be able to go. That's something that I'm looking forward to, and hopefully I may be able to go because I haven't seen everyone from my church in a long time, or in person in a long time, and it'd be great if I could go on Thanksgiving break when I don't have school. So that's something.
Um, yeah, as well. I also think having the podcast is also something I look forward to because it is very fun and you get to talk. It's just nice to wind down and stuff. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Okay, so do people know how you feel by looking at your face? Are you good at hiding your emotions?
So,
Mm, I don't know. I mean, I would say the people that I'm close to, they would probably know what I'm feeling based on how my face looks like, based on my facial expressions maybe. Um, am I good at hiding my emotions? Yes, I am. Because usually when I hide my emotions, I pretend to be happy. But then some people, it depends. Because some people may be able to catch on to it and be like, why are you trying to act happy? Clearly you're upset about something. Some people might catch on, some people might not. But it depends on who the person is. But usually I'm good at hiding my emotions, especially with my parents. There's a lot of things I hide from them, especially with emotions, like if I'm upset about something, or if I'm angry about something, or if something's upsetting, then yeah, I do hide it. Um, there are several things that they don't know about me, but yeah.
mm-hmm.
What about you?
I think um, I mean, I have an expressive voice as well. Like sometimes people can tell how I feel, but I also have the past when I was at school. I had a good way of hiding it. But so far, I think my expressions are more like showing. So I think they do show up here and there, and people can tell how I'm feeling. But sometimes I don't know. It just depends. It also depends on how much, what type of feeling it is, and how much it's affecting me. Then also depends on how much it shows through your face expression.
Yeah, because certain emotions, it might be more clear. Like if someone's really upset or really angry, then those emotions might be more transparent and people will probably notice it a bit more. So, I don't know, it just really depends. And if the person catches on, it depends how well the person knows you. So, yeah, there are a lot of depending factors. Okay. So the next question, have you been in love? What is it like to be in love?
Oh gosh.
Okay,
Also, how
first.
long is this? Okay, first off, how
Mm-hmm.
long is this episode?
Well, it's gonna be an hour, right? So didn't we start at like 6:50?
6:40.
Oh, we started 6:40. Okay, so this is gonna be the last question, and then we're gonna end with our sponsors. Then I didn't know it was already an hour then, but
Yeah, I
we're
was
gonna
kind
answer
of.
this last question, and then we're gonna do the sponsors and then end it. So, all right. So I have no experience. Well, actually, I kind of do, but I kind of don't. Like with love. I mean, I've been in love. Um,
In love. You said it.
I mean, yeah, but like I've had crushes and everything, but I've never been in a relationship before. For me, it's complicated. You know, it's always like this. I get to know someone and they get to know me and we're both attracted to each other, but nothing ever happens. Or it's a one-sided relationship. Either I'm attracted to that person, but the person isn't attracted to me, or it's the other way around where the other person is attracted to me and likes me, but I have no feelings towards them. And it's usually one of those three. And yeah. I don't really have much experience with that. I've never really necessarily been in a relationship. I guess you could say I've kind of been in a relationship when I was with this one person for a week, I guess.
For a
But
week.
because it was long distance, we didn't really get to do much. We basically just talked for straight full week. But then after that, he moved on because, it was long distance. So keeping a long distance relationship is not really easy. And it's kind of difficult. So he moved on, got to know someone else, and is now married. So how
Oh,
things work in this world is crazy. But however, Julie over here, she has more experience than me. Currently, she has a boyfriend. I'm sure she could give
yeah,
more advice.
I'll try. But wait, what's the question?
Have you ever been in love? Um,
Yes.
well, what else? What is it like to be in love?
Oh my. Okay. Oh. Um. So we're talking about this. All right. I have obviously since I have a boyfriend, so like I love him.
Of
Um.
course.
Um. Well, what it's like? It's like oh, it's like also depends on how much you love them and how deep your love is. For me, I feel like he is like part of me. He's like the other half, or just like he's just part of me. And everything, you treat him or whoever you love basically kind of very similar to yourself. That you try and take care of them. You care for everything they do. Um, you basically love them as much as you can, and everything. It's hard to word it. Uh, it's like you get encourage them in everything they do. Um, even if it has has a bit of difficulty for you, but everything you both do, you both communicate each other about. You speak things from your mind, and be truthful to each other, be honest, and everything like struggles, difficulties, your feelings and thoughts, you communicate to each other, so there is no miscommunication, and uh, like every day, you also just don't really have that thought of hating them in any certain way, or like, and they do something that irritates you or maybe gets like makes you mad. That anger literally doesn't last that long at all. And you can, sure, you can get angry and like irritated by them a few times here or there, but you can never actually hate them. And like, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It's hard to like word it out because like I can't really think, you know. And I'm also better at uh, typing it as well. I like typing my feelings out much better and saying it.
I mean, I don't know. I'm much better personally at expressing my love towards someone, I guess. But yeah, that's basically her story on her side of the relationship since she has more experience than me. But yeah, this is me. I know a lot of people who are in relationships, and I'm over here just listening to all of their problems. Like before Julie, well, actually, before she even met Jordan, she would talk about other things, and she would always be free because she didn't have Jordan. But now that she's with Jordan, I feel like Jordan's my competition. And then she always talks about him. She's always like Jordan, Jordan, Jordan. And
I
especially,
don't always talk about him.
yeah. I mean, when you had okay, first of all, when you had a crush on him, you'd always talk about him. And then
That was
once you
when
got into a relationship with him, it became intense. But it's okay. That's what you get for falling in love. But it's whatever. I'll just endure that. And you're not the only one, because there's other people that I know that I'm friends with that are also in relationships. And the only thing they can talk about is that person. They're always mentioning that person. So yeah.
also love is a very complicated emotion to feel. To be honest, and don't worry, you will get your chance at romance.
I doubt it. I feel like I'm gonna be single till I'm old or something. I don't think I'm gonna get
I don't
married.
know that.
I feel
I
like
don't
I'm
know
sure
that.
about it, but who knows? We'll see what happens in the future.
Don't know that.
Anyways, we're gonna introduce our sponsors for today. So today we have Put on the Apron, Make Me a Sandwich. We also are sponsored by Jungle Music, music at your fingertips. Hearings, books read to you, 25% off. Go get that deal. Nerd Seats, get your concert tickets. Alright, guys. Thank you for watching this episode about us talking about our emotions and love
Feelings and
problems.
it.
Alright, bye, guys. Okay, I don't know if I ended this. I forgot to end it. I forgot how to end this recording. Oh no.
Literally every time. Is it like gonna
No. Wait, how do you end this? Wait, hold on. Am I still recording? Hold on. I gotta look up how to stop this. Because I forgot what the keys are.
It's just gonna be like, if it's still recording, it's just gonna be like a little huge struggling.
Yeah, I'm over here struggling because I forgot how to end this. Oh, I hit the wrong one. Okay.